Welcome to another presentation of the Solid Sports Video Blog. This is episode 242. Today's date is September 9th, 2023. Thank you for joining me again. I'm Troy West, and hope everybody having a good weekend. Good morning to everyone. So it's around just after 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time where I am. Appreciate you guys so much for watching. So like I said, the video should post probably around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So like I said, before noon, like I promised. Thank you guys so much for watching. Got a big show today because NFL Week 1. Of course, we will get into that. But first, we're going to talk about Major League Baseball. I haven't talked about baseball in a while. Give an update of what's going on in the baseball. Look at this current standings and playoff picture. And we'll talk about Julio Reyes. Of course, got in trouble with some domestic violence. We'll talk a little bit about that. NBA kind of quiet right now, even though the season's right around the corner as well for the NBA. We'll talk a little bit about James Harden. USA men's team lost in the FIBA World Cup semifinal. We'll touch on that, and like I said, we'll look at Week 1. We'll look back at the Lions upsetting the Kansas City Chiefs Thursday night. And we'll talk about Week 1. You know, I got my Big 5, and we'll pick all the games. Also, we'll touch a little bit on college football. Big college football game today. The biggest game, probably Texas, Alabama, and then can Colorado continue their streak. Well, continue their good start as they play Nebraska at noon. That's another reason why I wanted to get this video up before noon as well, since we're going to talk about college football. But like I said, we're going to start with the MLB. I always like to get the baseball away because it's probably the least popular, to be honest. I don't know a lot of other baseball fans. So I don't get to talk baseball pretty much almost at all. But yeah, we're in September, so we're getting closer to the playoffs. But I want to talk about one of my favorite players in the major leagues right now. Yes, he's an Atlanta Brave. Braves is it is my favorite team, period, to root for. Ronald Acuna Jr. Of course, became the first player to hit for 30 home runs and steal over 60 bases, which is kind of crazy to think about it. If anybody would have done it, I would have thought it probably would be Barry Bonds. But I'm surprised nobody had never done that before, honestly. But he's the first. And I think it's a clear-cut MVP in the National League. Braves got the best record in the American League. Maybe you could argue Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. They having big years again for the Dodgers. But other than that, I don't see anybody's close. There should be a slam dunk for Acuna to get the MVP. Even though he got some other players on his own team. Matt Olson having a big year. For the Braves as well, as far as RBIs and home runs. I'm trying to think of the Central. Who's leading the Central in the National League right now? I think it's the Milwaukee Brewers. But the Brewers are, they just a good team. Nobody really stands out for the Brewers like that. Like I said, it'd probably be a Dodger if it don't be Acuna. But I think Ronald Acuna is having a monster year. So I just wanted to point that out. Like I said, being the first to do that, I think that's enough. So I think he should be MVP. And I'm happy for him because, he was hurt during the World Series run in 2021. But since then, he's bounced back. And now you definitely can see how healthy he is and what a dynamic player he is. So I'm just happy for him. And as a Braves fan, I'm excited to see. Like I said, I'm always worried about being being at 1 seed. Even though you get go straight to the DS Division Series, but just in the playoffs, anything can happen. But I think the Braves pitching staff should overcount that, because really it depends on how deep your pitching staff is. Even though lately they've been getting up a lot of runs, so I'm just hoping we have another deep playoff run. And for Baltimore. The Orioles are doing very, very well this year as well. Right now they'd be the top seed in the American League, which is kind of crazy to even say. I knew the Orioles were getting better, but I didn't think they was going to make this leap this soon. So hopefully they can keep it going as well. They widen their lead a little bit in the division. We're going to talk about all that in a few minutes. Actually, right now. That's why we'll just go into that right now. Let's look at the standings and talk about the playoffs picture at the moment. Yeah, the American League Orioles leading the East. In the West, it's right now I think it's Houston, even though it's a 3-team race. Houston, Texas, and Seattle. Seattle was hot. They did this last year. They got hot. In fact, wound up being a wild card team. Rangers been kind of cold, been kind of slacking a little bit. Let's look at pull it up here. Yeah, I had to charge my phone a little bit too. I always forget to charge my phone at night. Okay. Alright, here we go. Okay, yeah, so the O's in the East, they got a 4-game lead now over the Tampa Bay Rays. Then it's Toronto, Boston, and the New York Yankees, which is weird to say they in last. It's like upside down world here with the East this year. But I mean, that division always been tough. It's been tough for the last few years. AL Central, Minnesota with a 6.5-game lead over the Indians. The Guardians. But all the rest of the teams under 500, Detroit, Chicago, White Sox, Kansas City, officially eliminated. Yeah, in the West, it's Houston, about half a game over Seattle. But like I said, Seattle has been very, very hot. Texas has been slacking a little bit. They 3 games back, and then you got the Angels 15 back. And Oakland is officially eliminated. They're in last place in the American League East. In the National League, my Braves 15 ahead of the Philadelphia Phillies. 92 wins, best in baseball in the East. Miami having a decent year as well. Then you got the Mets, probably the most disappointing team. Them and the Padres, we get to them in a second. And the Washington Nationals, which is the Nationals only a game behind the Mets. So the Mets about to be in last place. Central, like I said, Milwaukee Brewers, Chicago Cubs. Surprisingly, quietly having a great year. Cincinnati Reds, 6.5 back. Cubs 3 back of Milwaukee. In the West, I pay attention to baseball a lot, but the Dodgers, of course, I knew the Dodgers was going to eventually get back in the division, but Arizona led it for a while. The Giants hung in there for a while. The Padres, I would say the Padres are a little bit more disappointed than the Mets, even though the Mets made a lot of big changes in the offseason as well. But the Padres, to me, I don't know, I just really expected something from them. And shout out to my buddy, Good Vibes, but it's Colorado Rockies is in last and is officially eliminated from postseason competition. So now let's look at the wild card picture as we form everything into form here. So in the American League, of course, the 3 division leaders are the Baltimore Orioles, Minnesota Twins, and the Houston Astros. So they're not listed here. So the top 3 wild card teams, Tampa. A big lead as Tampa still continue to win despite all the things they've been through, like the Rays. I always give a shout out to them. They still able to hang on and win. Seattle is the second wild card, just a game up on Toronto. So they're the 3 top wild card teams. You got the Rangers a game and a half, and then White Sox and Yankees sort of shot in the dark, 6 and 8 games back. Cleveland 10.5. I think anybody's over 10 now. Almost gonna be impossible to get back into it. Angels, Tigers, White Sox are still, even though White Sox are 23 back, they probably about to be eliminated. But that just shows, how many games is still left if you're 23 out and still mathematically alive. National League, Philadelphia Phillies, of course, got all the way to the World Series in this predicament last year. So they feel comfortable where they are. Chicago Cubs, like I said, been a surprise. +2 for them. Arizona got the last spot. Wild card in the National League a little bit more interesting. Miami half game out. Cincinnati a game and a half. San Francisco 2.5, and then we got the disappointing Padres 7. Pittsburgh Pirates 8.5. Pirates was doing well at the beginning of the season. New York Mets, like I said, throw them in that disappointing category as well. 10.5. Gotta put the Yankees in there as well. St. Louis as well. Like a lot of these National League teams, like I thought St. Louis would be better this year. The Mets are what they did, and the Padres in the National League. In the American League, only team that really sticks out is the Yankees, because the Yankees are used to them winning. I say the Angels. The Angels are always disappointing because they got the two best players in baseball, arguably. So for them not to win is always a disappointment. And I guess if you had to pick another team, I guess the White Sox. I thought the White Sox would be a little bit better this year, but to each his own there. So that's our MLB update. One more story to get more serious. No, I just want to touch on it real quick. The Julio Reyes story, of course. He was arrested for domestic battery, I believe. So we're gonna pull up the article and just skim through it a little bit. And I think it's his second domestic violence situation he's been in. Let's see. Oh, now I gotta find it. But he's been put on administrative leave, so he's been relieved from the team for now. I guess I'm gonna have to go. I probably have to go to the Dodgers part of the website, but yeah. Very, long story short, matter of fact, I ain't gonna touch on this long. My thoughts on it, really, like what I read, it was altercation at one of the MLS soccer games. I think one of the Leon Messi, which is one of my favorite soccer player games. I think he was seen by a witness hitting a woman. And he was a great pitcher, man. Like, I don't know what it is about the Dodgers, because he got, the Brewer situation, and then him. So I don't know, these Dodgers pitchers. I don't know, maybe it's the LA Sun. I don't know, but sorry. This happens every time I get on a rant, and I be forgetting to yeah. Oh, I don't want to set up the camera. Yeah, I'm messing everything up today, guys. This is the playroom. I always explain it when this happens. So I gotta get back into the bots here. I usually set this thing up before I start recording. Using the PlayStation camera. So this is what I gotta do every time. But if, like I said, my controller, it cuts off every 10 minutes if I don't touch it. Which I explained this. I did this happened at my live as well the other day. It's a little fun game. I mean, I played around with it a little bit, back when I first got my PS4. Well, when I first got my camera, because you can't play with the little bots without the camera. I don't believe, because you can't, you can hit them and smack them and stuff like that with your hands and all that stuff. But sorry about that. I don't want to get derailed for what I was talking about. That kind of sucks. It was a serious situation. But basically, domestic violence. Oh Lord. Yeah, this show is going great. Got flies flying all on my face. I got yellow jackets messing with me. So All right, let's get right back to what I was saying. Julio Reyes, you know, I think he's gonna get suspended. Probably gonna get the big suspension this time. I think he got 20 games the first time. But basically, man, like, you know, the way the world is now, you know, we got the Me Too movement. You can name all types of movement. Women, you know, believe all women and all this stuff. Basically, my only advice to anybody. I don't know his situation. Maybe he's just a domestic violence person. You know, maybe he just hit on women normally. But if you got any woman that show you any type of sign that she wanna even hit you or bring you a lot of drama, I recommend get away from him. Just get away from him. Cut it short. Dump him. Whatever. If it's your girlfriend, leave him alone. Like, don't even engage in it. I just think they're gonna make an example out of him. Unfortunately, once everything settles prior to the off season, I think he will get a big suspension. Probably at least half the year. 80. I'm looking like 80 some games or something like that. I think it's coming down for him. So, unfortunately, so. Yep. So that's that. You know, I don't want to get in deeper towards you. Want to know more details? Look it up. I'm sure if you just put in Dodgers, I'm sure it'll come up. Alright, so let's move on to the NBA. Of course, it's the off season, but just had the World Cup in the FIBA. Team USA showed some good signs, you know, put together a nice team. Anthony Edwards, the Lakers, what's his name? Maybe their names will come up when I go to the article, but Austin Reeves, Jalen Brunson, those guys played pretty well, but they lost to Germany in the semis. So it's Serbia in the final. And then this, let me see. And Germany, of course, because Germany just beat the USA. So it's Serbia against Germany in the FIFA World Cup final. But a lot of people making this a big deal. Some people make it a big deal. Some people not. I'm not, because, you know, basically you really worry about the Olympics. But I think the perception of the USA always dominating in basketball and all that noise always get people riled up. But I'm not worried about it, honestly, because I know this is not our you know, I know our best players, they really go over there. But at the same time, I get it. You know, you want to win anytime you get a chance to win. Basketball is sort of our sport, quote unquote. So to lose in it always just rub people the wrong way. But I think next year for the Olympics we'll be ready. I think most of our main players will play. Even though I think playing in the Olympics is starting to get, you know, players starting to look at that differently now, and not be really wanting to play, rather focus on the NBA season. So we'll see how that goes. But I think this is nothing to worry about. But I understand if you know, feel some type of way that they didn't get it done. But we're still the best in the world. But I mean, the world has caught up. Like, that's one thing we have to definitely look at. Just look at the NBA now. Like half the league, most of the good players are foreign. Luka Doncic, Joel Embiid. I heard something about Joel Embiid yesterday. He's about to be a U.S. citizen, so they're gonna try to recruit him to play for the U.S. team. I think all you got to be is a citizen. You can play for that country, even though you're not from that country. Because I think, you know, like it was something with who's Serge Ibaka. I think he's originally from Africa, but then he grew up in France. I think that's the same thing. I think with Giannis as well. I think they originally was from Africa, but they moved to Europe and they played for the Europe teams in Olympics play, or you know, in world play. So they large you a citizen of that country, you can play for that country. I think that's the only rule there. So But that'll help USA if we get Joel Embiid. You know, that would help a lot. Because I think this team, it was basically a bunch of guards. So that's why they lost. That was another reason why they lost anyway. But don't sweat this. You know, getting to the semifinals still good. You know, so. But I think the Olympics will have our best team out there. I think we'll win the gold again. Not gonna be easy though. Not gonna be a cakewalk. This ain't the dream team, and like I said, competition back there was way more lesser now than than it is now. Like countries, imagine, you know, if some countries that probably dedicate, maybe even put their government resources into their teams to get better. So. And basketball is one of them. Basketball starting to become global. NBA is part of it. The NBA wanted to go global, so of course you want the countries to be a little bit better at basketball. Of course, this is natural. So I just think over the years of time, countries has gotten better at basketball. Simple as that. So so that's that. So don't, like I said, don't sweat it. USA will be fine. They're gonna win the gold. Probably just gonna be a tougher task to do. That's all. Alright, so let's move on to the James Harden situation. Been making news lately. He wants out of Philadelphia. Do I need the article for this one? Basically, Harden is unhappy. Well, he wanted to be traded, first of all, so now I don't know what the base is behind that. But he basically called Daryl Morey a liar. But some of the story that I'm hearing now, that he I mean, he was told he was going to be traded, but Philly just got in trouble for tampering. I think to get him, they got in trouble for tampering, because they was talking to him, you know, before they could talk to him, you know, whatever, which I think, I mean, I'm not saying you should outlaw tampering, but tampering, like, that's a wide brush, you know. People got the same ages, people got the same companies and stuff like that. People, you know, people work together in other avenues, so it's hard to say, all right, I can't talk to, you know, and it's hard to prove as well, you know. So I just think, you know, tampering to me is not a big deal. But I guess I'm just going to give my thoughts on Harden just wanting to leave Philly. I'm not going to get into all the behind the scenes stuff with Daryl Morey and all that stuff, because I don't know, we don't know. I'm just going to speak as a fan. It don't look good. It don't look good for him. Houston, of course. Well, let's just go back to OKC. You know, that's where he was drafted. And that wasn't his fault. You know, they traded him. They decided to build a team around Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant at the time. But I think if they could have kept James Harden a little longer, who knows? Just think of all the good players that came out of OKC, and now they rising again with a lot of young talent. Get traded to Houston. Houston pretty much gives him the world and more. He campaigned for Russ to come there, campaigned for Chris Paul to come there, Dwight Howard. All those situations didn't work out, that he eventually wanted to leave. He comes into camp out of shape, clearly not giving it his effort. Houston goes in to trade up to Brooklyn. Gets to Brooklyn, plays well. Kevin Durant gets hurt. Kyrie Irving, this was during a pandemic. Kyrie Irving didn't take the shot, so he couldn't play on road games. All this other stuff was going on. They say he was frustrated with that. Season ends, he wants out of Brooklyn. Then he winds up getting to Philadelphia. Daryl Morey wound up being the GM there. They got a good relationship going back to Houston. But this is where I get lost. Like, what happened? You know, yeah, they lost in the playoffs. They had Boston on the ropes though. They could have won that game 7. He didn't play well. That's another thing. He usually hit a wall in the playoffs. And I don't, you know, I mean, it's just the truth. But I don't look at him less as a player because of that. But that is the truth. He don't. In the game 7, I think he only hit 2 shots. I think he went for like 2 for 17 or something like that, or something crazy like that. Embiid didn't play well either, even though Embiid was hurt. but he didn't play well, so Philly lost. So now he's, off season comes, he wants out of Philadelphia. Long story short, Morey haven't really, talked to him or whatever. But they saying the base of that is they don't want to get in trouble for tampering. So, but like I said, just him, just forget all that. Just him leaving, wanting to leave. Like, where are you gonna go? Like, what is your priority? Like, do you want to win? And I'm not judging as far as him as a person. It's just that I don't know what his mindset is. Like, he's a little bit on the downside in his career. He's declining. But he's still a great player in this league. The rumor is he want to go back to Houston or he want to go to the Clippers. The Clippers thing don't make sense to me because Russell Westbrook's there still, and that's somebody you didn't really want to play with eventually. Yeah, you got Kawhi and Paul George there. He would definitely have to take less money if he wanted to go there anyway, or maybe Westbrook could be part of the trade to Philadelphia. So I don't know if that's gonna work. The Houston thing, Houston got a nice little squad now. They picked up, you might laugh at this, Dillon Brooks. They signed, who else they signed? They signed somebody else important. Fred VanVleet from Toronto, and I think he's a good player. Then the young nucleus Houston has. So I think going there, I'm not going to say he's going there thinking he don't want to win, but I don't think it'd be a lot of pressure on him going to Houston to win. Philadelphia is going to be pressure. If you go to the Clippers, there's going to be pressure to win, especially if Kawhi and Paul George be healthy, and that hasn't came to fruition the last few years. So, but overall, I just don't understand his logic. Why he would keep bouncing around, but he loved playing basketball. Like you always see him playing basketball. So I don't think his desire, none of that is left. But it's just weird to me why he wouldn't leave Philadelphia. I think if he stays there, and they add a few more pieces, Tyrese Maxey is going to get better. I think the Sixers could be a contender in the East. Miami is going to be there. Like I said, Milwaukee always going to be there with Giannis. And there's a lot of teams get better. Cleveland, the Yankees, the Knicks. It's teams in the East, but I think they clearly would be one of the deeper teams in the East if he stays. So that's why I'm just questioning his priority. But it's a free country, if he want to leave, he wants to leave. But I don't know. But now it's like it's so much damage done. He said some things in the media. If he wind up being there when training camp starts, he's not going to show up to training camp, and he's probably not going to be in shape. He's not going to give his 100% effort. So I think if you Philadelphia, either still trade him now, I won't blame them that I don't know if he got a no trade clause or not, but I would just trade him anywhere. Whatever give me the best deal, just get him out of there, so he won't hover over the team. Or tell him stay home until you can get a trade. Maybe make something work that where he where he wants to go. I want him around the team, to mess up the morale or things of that nature. So, all right, well that's the end of that. So, guess what? It's time to talk about some NFL football. NFL football, finally here. Week 1 got off to a great start Thursday night. Lions upsetting the Kansas City Chiefs. Takeaways from that game. I watched a little bit of it. Right now I don't have a daggone antenna, so that sucks. Like tomorrow I'm gonna be dying in here, not be able to watch any games. So I hope I can make something work out. I can watch some games tomorrow. But I'm definitely gonna keep my alerts and stuff on and watch highlights and stuff, definitely, to give a better view of what's going on. We about to pick all the week 1 games, but Chiefs, some people hitting the panic button. The Chris Jones thing stood out, but I think the Travis Kelce, him not playing, I think that stood out a lot more, obviously. because the Chiefs defense played pretty decently. I mean, yeah, the Lions was comfortable. They moved the ball a little bit, but they still only scored 14 points really. The other was the pick six, so the defense put up the other 7 points. Holding them to 14. Kansas City only getting 20. You know, a lot of drop balls. Javarius Tony, he getting a lot of heat right now. 2 big drops for him. He had 4, but the 2 biggest ones, the pick six was a drop, and then the one where Mahomes hit him on that 1st and 10, middle of the field. I think he would have scored. Some people say he would at least been inside the red zone. I think he could have scored, obviously, on that one, because if you hit him in stride, I mean, I think he had a chance to score on that throw, which would have changed the whole game as well. So 2 big drops for him. Mahomes, like I said, looked like Mahomes to me. Just, you know, his receivers just couldn't help him out. So we'll see what the game plan is. You get 10 days off. Maybe Kelsey will be ready for week 2. But if I'm the Chiefs fan, I'm not worried. But if I'm a Lions fan, I still feel good. A win is a win at the end of the day. Still, people still didn't. I didn't expect them to win the game. Still, even with Kelsey being out, I thought the Chiefs would still find a way to win, which they still almost did. So it was a close game. But the Lions usually lose games like that. So I think it's a big confidence boost. So like I said, I still like Detroit to win the North and the NFC. So I think it kind of validates that. So let's see if they can carry this. But see, the thing is, only thing we worry about the Lions is are they the same on lines? Are they going to crack under the pressure? Is they going to let us down again? That's basically all you're really worried about with Detroit. But I think they can do it. I think Dan Campbell definitely changed the culture there. I think this is a huge win for them. I think they're going to push it moving forward, and going to ride this wave to the division title this season. Alright, so let's go ahead and get our picks in for week number 1. Just like I always do, I got my big 5 games here. I'll go more into detail about these 5 games, but we're going to go down the schedule in week 1. Just pick game by game. If it's not on the big 5, I'm going to just give a brief take on the game and then move on to the next one, so we won't waste too much time. Okay, so first up, Texans at the Ravens. You see my Ravens hat. I am a Ravens fan. I'm from Baltimore. Like I said, I had my concerns about the Ravens overall for the season, but I don't think it's going to be this game. I think this is a good game to try to test out some things, see how this new offense look. Houston, like I said, I like how the direction they going, but they young. C.J. Stroud, his first game, I think he's going to struggle a little bit. I think we're going to rat him a little bit. I think the Ravens should win. 10-point favorites, kind of big, but I think they might cover that. I got the Ravens winning that game. Here go one of my big 5 games to get us started. Bengals versus the Browns. Cincinnati is 2-point favorites. Of course, we all know about Joe Burrow getting his contract. Now I'm starting to hear that he took less money. Well, the way the contract sounded, I was like, for him to be the highest paid, it don't sound like he, you know, it sounded like the Deshaun Watson thing, contract was bigger. It even sounded like, well, I knew it was bigger than Herbert's, but they say he left some money on the table. Some people criticize, it's a few people, I ain't gonna say some, a few people criticize him, think he should have got a fully guaranteed contract because of what he's done in the league. But I think the Bengals did good. Go ahead and lock him up, pay him, so this won't hang over the whole season. So I'm glad they got it out the way. He hurt himself early in camp, so hopefully he's ready to go. So we'll see how Joe Burrow look. I think he's fine though. The Browns, of course, speaking of Deshaun Watson, is he back to his normal form? We'll see. But the Browns have owned the Bengals. I think winning 4 of the last 5. I don't think they won in Cleveland in like 6 or 7 years. So a little bit of a hump to get over for the Bengals, but I still think they win this game. I just think the Browns. I think the Bengals are just battle tested. But I think the Browns are going to be a problem this year. Like I said, this whole division is just stacked, which make the whole AFC stacked. But this division alone, from 1 through 4, it's not a big gap. But I think the Bengals hang on. I think it'll be a close one. I think 2 points is pretty much well, I think it's going to be probably less than a field goal game. I think the Bengals win it though, and start off the season with a win. Buccaneers Vikings. I'm gonna go with the Vikings here. I don't know what Tampa's going to be like. Baker Mayfield. I like Baker Mayfield. I mean, I like Baker Mayfield more than I don't like him, but he's been inconsistent up and down through the years. I think even though we joke about Kirk Cousins, I think he's still steady. This might be a big game for Justin Jefferson to get them off to a good start. I like Minnesota at home. Titans at the Saints. Probably should have. This didn't make my big five, but now that I look at it, maybe so. Saints, I think they're going to win the South. Titans, I think they have a chance. We'll see how Jacksonville is, but we get to see DeAndre Hopkins in his first game as a Titan. But I'm gonna go with the Saints. I think they're gonna make a statement here. I think it'll be a close game. Let's Derrick Henry go crazy. That's why the Titans are always gonna be dangerous, because Derrick Henry could just have a monster game and carry them to a win. But I think the Saints defense will slow them down enough and win the game. Panthers at Falcons. It's just a game in the South. We see the rookie Bryce Young, his first game. The Falcons, like I said, everybody like that rookie running back, Bijan Robinson. So we'll see him in action for the first time. I think the Falcons at home. I'm gonna take them to win this game. Like I said, I heard a lot of good things about the Falcons. Let's see if it starts here. I think Bryce Young might struggle a little bit. Like I said, you know, rookies, you know, even though it's kind of more common now than it was back when I was really watching, you know, when I was a kid. Rookies sometimes will sit a year or two. But I think it's tough for these rookies, their first game. I'm going to go with the Falcons to win. Jaguars at Colts. I'm going to take the Jags here. I mean, the Colts, I mean, I think they have something there. No Jason Taylor. So Anthony Richardson, another rookie, his first game. They say the Jags defense is never. That's one of the things I worry about the Jags. Will their defense hold up? But I think the Jags will beat the Colts tomorrow. 49ers and Steelers. That's one of my big five games. To me, this is one of the biggest games of the week. I think it'll be the most competitive game. The most, honestly, out of all the games, it's the game I probably want to see the most. Niners, of course, they traded Trey Lance a couple weeks ago to the Cowboys. So now it's all on Brock Purdy. Is he ready? We'll see. This is a game to see. Steelers defense, TJ Watt, like I said, defensive of the year candidate. Speaking of the defense, 49ers defense, Nick Bosa locked up. He got his big contract. He's expected to play. I think he might be on the count, but he's expected to play, but he might not need that many snaps. He just probably need 1 or 2 big plays. And I was telling my friend James, shout out to my friend James, Steelers fan, it probably come down to one play on either side of the ball, either a big defensive play or a big offensive play. It's going to turn. It's going to take one play. I think it's going to be a nail biter. But I like the Steelers though. This is probably what upset of the week, if you want to call it that. I think the Steelers going to get it. I think the Niners, Brock Purdy didn't play in the preseason. I think it's going to be rusty. You can't be rusty against a good defense. I think the Steelers will make one more play, and I think they'll win this game at home. Cardinals Commanders. Cardinals, man, just a lot of bad vibes. They expected to be the worst team in the football. Commanders got some bright spots there, and they're at home. No Kyler Murray for the first 4 weeks, I believe. So I'll go with the Commanders there. Raiders Broncos. I'm gonna go with Denver at home. I don't feel great about saying it. This is a division game, but I think Sean Payton gonna make his mark. I like Denver in this game. Big 5 game. Chargers hosting the Miami Dolphins. Chargers 3-point favorites here. This is a tough one for me. This is another intriguing game. This is a tough one for me to pick. I like both of these teams this year. Maybe the Dolphins a little bit more. But you know what? Since it's good weather, I think I'm going to go with Miami. I think Miami pulled this one out. I guess you could call this an upset because the Chargers are favorite. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. Tua against Justin Herbert. I'm gonna go with Miami here. I think Miami's deeper. I think they make one more play and they win that game. Like I said, when Tua was healthy, Dolphins had the best offense in the football. Go back and check the paperwork out. They had the best offense in football. So I'm gonna go with Miami here. And like I said, I got them winning the East, so I think this is a game they need to win to propel themselves for that. I'm gonna go with the Dolphins here. I like Tua. As long as he can stay healthy, I like the Dolphins. Eagles at Patriots. Eagles, of course, defending NFC champions, run up for the Super Bowl. Patriots, just too many question marks for the Patriots. I think the Eagles go up there and win. But I think it'll be a close game. I think the Patriots have slowed them down a little bit. Jalen Hurts didn't play much in the preseason, so I think you have to shake some rust off. Patriots defense is good. Mac Jones, I'm not down on him, but I'm not rah-rah for him either. He just don't jump off the page. But like I said, I think he's a good pro quarterback. I think he has pro qualities. Like I said, playing in Alabama, Jalen Hurts played at Alabama, then transferred to Oklahoma. So some ties there as well. But I like the Eagles to go up there and win. I don't want to say easily, but I think it'd be no doubt that they win this game. Packers and Bears. Another interesting game. Jordan Love, not his first start, but his first start, actually being the starter. Justin Fields, I like Justin Fields a lot. I think he's going to take a step forward. Bears only a 1.5 point favorite. But you know what? Like I said, I did say when I was doing my preview, so I think the Packers will get off to somewhat of a slow start. I think the Bears a little bit more have more cohesion, so I think that'll be the difference. They could be a tight game. I think 1.5 points. That's, I get that. I'm gonna go with the Bears to stay at home. I think they pull it out and beat the Packers. Rams at Seahawks. Rams, like I said, I think their uniforms should be just put a whole bunch of question marks all over it, look like the Riddler. Because this team, I don't know what this team going to be. I think this team had the potential to be good, but Cooper Kupp is out. He already rules him out this game, so that's definitely enough for me to go with Seattle. Seattle, like I said, a lot of people, a little trendy pick. A lot of people giving Seattle a lot of credit. I'm gonna give Geno credit as well. I think they make a statement here. The LA at home is always tough to go up there and win. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks at home. Sunday Night Football. Cowboys at the New York Giants. This made my Big Five games. Both of these teams were playoff teams last year. A lot of expectation for the Cowboys. They getting put in that category with San Francisco and Philadelphia. I wouldn't quite put them there, but I think they had the potential to be there. This is a make or break year for Dak Prescott, I think. But the Cowboys have owned the Giants, especially Dak Prescott. I think he never lost to the Giants, I believe, or some weird stat like that. Or he's like 7-1 against them or something like that. But the Giants, I'm starting to like people that I've been hearing talk about the Giants. They making me feel good because I said, all right, they could be the last wild card. But it's so the NFC is so wide open. But Daniel Jones, he showed me like I said, when you do stuff in the postseason, it shows me something. I like even though Minnesota defense is not that great, but what he did, how he ran that offense. Then now this is your second year in it. Saquon is ready to go because he got his contract. But I'm still going to take Dallas though. Dallas is too good. That defense, I think they're going to make a play or two, and the Giants will have to keep playing catch up. And I think it's I think Daniel Jones will have to pretty much win the game, and I don't think he can do it against that defense. So I'm like Dallas. Dallas 3.5 favorites on the road. And they like I said, they've pretty much have owned the Giants lately as well. So this would be a big win if the Giants can get it. But I'm gonna stick with Dallas here. So now we get the Monday night, another huge game. This game made my Big Five. Buffalo Bills going to East Rutherford to face the New York Jets. So New York fans get 2 games this week in the stadium up there. Well, it's not too far from me now. I'm in New Jersey now. I'm in South Jersey, but Jets I don't got making the playoffs, so you can check out my my episode 241 if you want to see all my NFL picks and predictions and all that stuff for the season. But we just focus on week 1. this game is tough for me because the Bills, I believe in the Bills too. But since the Jets, their schedule is this tough. But you know what? I'm gonna go with the Jets. I think the Jets win this game in particular. I think the Jets win this game. I think Bills coming in with some bad. I think the Bills are gonna start off, the little heads in the clouds. I think it's gonna start with this game. Aaron Rodgers, he does play well on Monday nights. I think it's ridiculous stats out there about him. I saw some of them. I think he's won his last 6-7 games on Monday night. So I'm gonna go off that. And just cause the hype, I think the fans gonna be hype. I think the Bills. I think it'll be a close, tight football game. But I think the Jets will pull it out and win this game. Get everybody hopes up. But I think the Jets is in for a loss season. Their schedule is just too bad. I don't think they're a bad team. I just think their schedule is just too tough. But if they can get this game, that'll start. Maybe an avalanche to turn it to the right round. Now this pick don't seem right because, like I said, I don't got the Jets making the playoffs. But something just telling me to pick the Jets here because I'm pretty much on the fence. And the Bills, like I said, the Bills to me, I'm worried about the Bills because Stephon Diggs, everything that he done in the offseason. Oh, excuse me. So I think they're gonna try forcing the ball. I just think the Bills ain't gonna be ready for this game. So I think the Jets will take advantage of it and win a close one. So I got the Jets pulling that upset there. So all right, so that's all my week 1 picks here. We run out of time, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to wrap things up quickly. I did want to talk about college football today. Go Colorado. I was glad they won last week against TCU. I like Dr. Sanders, not just as a coach. I was a fan of his growing up as well. Probably the best athlete of all time. But as a coach, I see how he make. He got people believing in the Buffaloes. Just 1-11 last year in college football. Nebraska, Matt Rule, he's a good coach. So I think it's not going to be. I think it's going to be probably tight, just like they was last week. But I think Colorado's going to win that game. Got another big game, Alabama, Texas. It's Alabama, so I'm just going to go with Alabama. The rest of the big teams pretty much got cupcakes this week. I think number 1 is Georgia. They got Nichols Steak or somebody. So they probably blow them off the wall. Michigan got a easy opponent as well. So unless if Alabama, I was telling one of my coworkers, he's an Alabama fan. I was like, they got a chance to move up. It's a slight chance. But I got a chance to move up from 3 to 201. Let's just say Michigan or mainly Michigan, because if Georgia struggles but still wins, Georgia's not gonna move off the 1 unless they lose. Let's just say Michigan somehow struggles with their opponent. I don't know I forgot exactly who they play, but it's a cupcake. Well, no, it's not they play UNLV. I think. Well, they're not. I mean, compared to Michigan, they're a cupcake, but UNLV is a decent school. But still, let's just say they struggle with them, and Alabama blows Texas out. I think they have a chance to overtake Michigan for the 2nd spot. I don't think they could get the number 1 with Georgia, even if they somehow struggle but still win. Now, if they win, this is I think if one of them teams loses, clearly Alabama would jump, could go up, but we just don't expect that to happen. So that's the college football for today. Quick channel update. But first, other things going around in sports. U.S. Open is getting down to the wire. Coco Gauff will try to win the U.S. Open today in the women's final. The men's final, the number 1 Alvarez, he got upset by the number 3 player in the world, Maradov, and he will face Novak Djokovic tomorrow for the men's title. So if you're a tennis fan, definitely check out that. I'm sort of a fair weather tennis fan, but I enjoy a good tennis match sometimes, so definitely check that out. Channel update. Shout out to my bro Don Parker. I call him Dog One to you guys. If y'all been following my channel for years. I couldn't play my PlayStation Plus. Stuff going on, like I said, in my personal life. I'm gonna touch on it just a little bit. But he was able to help me out with that. So we'll see some Sonic Crash Team Rumble today. I might do a live. They got another event this weekend. Season 2 starts next weekend. Well, in a couple of days, actually, the 12th. So hopefully I can work something out and do that. But I might not have my season pass, so that's what's gonna suck about that. But waiting for my direct deposit to kick in. I don't know what's going on with that. Probably gotta check back with that again. But anyway, shout out to him. So other than that, we wouldn't have been able to play Crash Team Rumble because it's an online game. Of course, you can't play online without your PlayStation Plus. So he helped me out with that, probably mostly because he wanted to play Call of Duty with me. But still, he ain't had to do that. So special thank you. I told him in person, well, not in person, but I told him already, but I want to do it on here. Other than that, man, there's a lot of stuff going on. But as far as the weekly, I think we're gonna go Wednesdays, Saturdays, at least for the next few weeks, unless anything changes. We'll preview the next Thursday night game. I think it's the Eagles and the Vikings, I believe. So we'll preview that game and look back on week 1. That's what we'll do on Wednesdays, preview the Thursday game, and then Saturday we'll do our normal blog. For now, we're gonna do that. Unless otherwise noted, I'll let you guys know. Just to keep honestly, it's for me to keep my morale up. My morale ain't good right now. Things are going on behind the scenes. I'm pretty much working just 2 days a week, so you can just imagine how that is. And only working 5 hours each day, so that's pretty much nothing. Still have to pay for where I'm staying. I put out an Instagram post just thanking everybody for the support. Thanking my friend that let me stay here. Anybody that supported me, I appreciate it. But on the flip side, I just feeling frustrated. It's like when I try to express how I feel, everybody takes it personal. But when I take stuff personal, I shouldn't take it personal. When somebody tell me something, or and I just don't like that. I'm just gonna be real about it. So I don't like that I can't say anything. Like if it's not necessarily like I might have a problem. It's just that I just want to get out what I feel or what I think. And if it's wrong, you can tell me that it's wrong. But when you're talking to an individual, they take it like directly that you're talking about them, and that's not always the case. But if they come to you with something, and you might feel like they directly talked about you, you can't say, I don't feel like I get that same respect, and I guess that's the word I want to use. I guess, I don't get that same privilege. I'm supposed to be open and understanding, but when I talk, everybody, if I say something that might seem like it's a problem, they take it personal, or they just try to say, well, if you're not talking about me, then I don't want to hear it. What do you have? What problem do you have with me? And that's how people take stuff sometimes. And I get it. Because sometimes, like I said, I feel like the way sometimes. But I'm going to communicate more, and maybe we can get to a solution. So I just been frustrated, guys. So but I'm not going to go in the dark. If like I almost canceled this show today because I didn't really feel like it at first. But then I was like, no, like it's week 1 of the NFL season. I wanted to do this, and now that I've done it, I feel better. But I almost canceled this show today. But if I ever have, feel like I need to cancel a show or something like that, or a blog, I'll let you guys know. I'm not gonna just not come, because I've done that. So and I'm guilty of that. But like I said, that's why I appreciate you guys just hanging in there with me. And like I said, I take responsibility for who I am. I have a birthday coming up about I guess it's about 3 weeks now, about a month, beginning October. So I guess you could call it a milestone. I'll be 40 years old. And I just, maybe I'm having a midlife crisis. I don't own anything. living in someone's basement. Now I'm working 2 days a week. And maybe, like I said, I'm not gonna resolve. Like maybe maybe I could have did things differently. Maybe I could be trying harder. This and this and that. But but that's always a judgment call, because I've seen people in the same situation that I feel like they could have tried hard. It's all a judgmental thing, and I'm just not a judgmental person. I try to be understanding first. Yeah, I'm gonna still tell you, and I expect somebody to tell me the truth, or tell me, well, yeah, you could have did this, you could have did that. But I'm not gonna judge you for not, because honestly, man, like, I'm just gonna simplify it like this, and people go to they're gonna front on this, but they lying and the truth ain't in them. To quote my late sister, people like, especially nowadays, people not gonna, if you don't want to do something, you're just not gonna do it. It don't matter what the situation is, it don't matter what the circumstances might be, what the consequences are. If you don't feel like doing something, you just simply ain't gonna do it. And I'm gonna leave it at that, and that's how I'm gonna end my show today. Thank you guys so much. Shout out to everybody that does support me. I do appreciate it, even though you might not see like that I do, but I do a lot. Because without that support, I wouldn't be even here. Like, I'd be even in a worse predicament. So that's how I'm going to end my show today. So I'm going to do another blog Wednesday. Like I said, we'll preview the Thursday night football. Let me make sure it is Eagles Vikings, because I think that's what it is. And I'm running out of time, so I gotta go. Let me see. Yeah, Eagles at home against the Vikings. They home opener. So yeah. So we'll preview that game. We'll look back on week 1. See where I went wrong in my picks. But I'm out of here, guys. I'm up against the time. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. This was a fun show. Love you all. Peace and love always. Love one another. Support one another. Care about one another more. And that's how I'm going to end the show. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.